prepared yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as. Look at the shields on the mark.
Oh my god, the drone's gonna take this.
Hey everybody, this is HD.
And this is Paying User.
We're back for another series of games in the IPL. This is still the round of 32, and this is the winner's bracket. We have ATN DarKFoRcE in the bottom left-hand corner and Mouse Mana in the top right-hand corner. It is going to be on Shakura's Plateau. I am so excited to be here with my co-caster, Paying User.
As am I.
Indeed, and we're going to be here to cast this best-of-3 series. One player shall continue on the road in the winner's bracket, and one player will fall to the dark, grimy hell that is the loser's bracket below.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Anyways, yep. Mouse Mana spawning as our green Protoss in the top right-hand corner on Shakura's Plateau, and in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg ATN DarKFoRcE. Both of these players, phenomenal European players, outstanding European players, especially Mana. He's been playing so well lately. Just one of the Protoss powerhouses from the European scene. Hasn't had a breakout success just yet, but he's been up there with everyone. And now scouting our Zerg immediately, probably gonna decide whether or not to drop a Gateway or a Forge, depending on what he sees.
I think he's gonna probably go with the
drop a Forge. Let's check it out. Yeah, I think he's going to Forge expand here. And there we go. We do have a Forge coming down. Most likely a Gateway after that, and then perhaps one cannon. Although, never mind that. He's probably going to get the Nexus before he completes that wall. It might be risky, but I think he's got time.
The thing here, though, is DarKFoRcE did go gas before Pool, so he's going to have 4 Zerglings out. Optionally could have 6. The standard thing is to go with 4 Zerglings. Sometimes Zerg players like to mix it up and get 6 depending on what they scout. You're right. Mana may go for the Nexus first. I think
he is for sure. He's already up to 300
minerals, right?
Oh, but he might get blocked by this drone. Way to hide the probe. I love it, but it looks like DarKFoRcE is hip to that. He's just going to hang out right there like a fat little drone. Oh, wow. Great reaction time by DarKFoRcE right there. Pulling out, and he's got...
Oh, wow.
He managed to sneak that very quick there, and that is actually the proper position. So DarKFoRcE not really watching his drone right there. Additionally, loses his scouting drone. Oh, man.
That's never a good way to start your day.
No, not at all.
You get absolutely no scout into the Protoss main. I mean, honestly, he knows what's going on in here. It's just a Nexus and probes mining.
Not only that, you can keep that drone alive for quite a while, especially if your opponent is doing a Forge fast expand. You can stay in there for so long. You can get their gas timing. You can get their second gas timing. You can get their cybernetics core timing. Because keep in mind, there's no way for them to get rid of that scout until they get a Stalker out. Zealots are not going to be able to cut it. And they're either going to have to get a Sentry or a Stalker out. And it's going to be quite a while before he finishes his cybernetics core. So
well, optionally, the Zerg always has the secondary scout, the big balloon floater, the Overlord. And of course, because the Protoss goes for Forge fast expand, the Overlords are pretty much safe for the first couple of minutes because we're not going to see a cybernetics core at least finishing for like another minute or so. So DarKFoRcE here will be able to float his blimps in here and figure out exactly what's going on.
The blimp floaters.
The blimp floater. The what do they call the old blimps back in the day?
Zeppelins.
Zeppelins.
Dirigibles.
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 Dirigibles. Well, these they're not filled with helium, so at least when they explode, they don't just...
They're filled with some sort of Zerg form of helium. Who knows? But they definitely explode when they die. Those little bulbs on the left and right just kind of explode and give off.
They even give off a little bit of gas right there. Anyways, it looks like DarKFoRcE is triple hatching, or rather to say double expanding here.
Yeah, he's double expanding, going for a very aggressive third here.
I really like this Paying User because he knows the Protoss has no ground forces whatsoever, and a Protoss on this map going for Forge expand, it's very hard to break. Protoss just love to just close this off. It's a very small ramp. It's going to be a 2-base Protoss, so you need that extra hatchery right away, and I like what DarKFoRcE has done.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He knows he's Forge expanding. He knows he's going to have quite a while. Generally, players won't take their third that quickly, just because it can be a little risky. especially to some kind of really quick Stargate play. And we do have that Stargate going down right now for mana. But one thing at the front of Mana's base near the natural, I really don't like that wall setup at all. He's just so exposed to any kind of a roach all-in or a roach ling all-in. I mean, he needs to be so careful. That's just such a risky setup right there. Generally, you want that Cybernetics core more towards the front, tucked in between right where that cannon is, pretty much. And you want the cannon to be a little bit more to the right. So he's really lucky that DarKFoRcE actually hasn't scouted up there and noticed that, because it's a huge opportunity for him to just outright win the game.
Well, he has scouted the Stargate. He knows about it now. Yeah, he sees that they're, I mean, most likely it's Void Rays at this point. And yes, indeed, it is going to be coming out. So I think we should be seeing a horde of queens popping pretty soon. DarKFoRcE will not be able to make 3 queens at once because he opted to go for the lair first. So he's going to be able to make 2 queens, and he should have a total of about 4 or so. Now, the thing is, he doesn't have the creep spread connecting to the 3rd yet. So what he really needs to do is build some Evo chambers and get some Spore Crawlers out. And in fact, he has spores coming at that very far away 3rd, so he'll be able to protect himself from Void Rays in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're going to see some follow-up Phoenixes or Void Rays, and it is a Void Ray, so it looks like he's going to go for 2 Void Rays. Yep. He will almost definitely be following that up with Phoenixes. If he doesn't, I have no idea what he's up to, because Phoenixes are just so great for picking up those queens, picking up transferring drones, any kind of wayward units, and they just allow the Void Rays to do so much damage while they have them up in the air. And really, those 2 units just working together beautifully. But DarKFoRcE seems to be prepared for this. He has his overlords in centralized areas. They're not out all over the map. He is spreading his creep between the 2 bases, which is so important. And I think he'll be pretty much prepared for this. And it looks like Mana's actually stopping production out of the Stargate. Yeah. It's really interesting.
Yeah. He may have just, I think he only has 1. No, he has 2 Void Rays out.
He does have 2.
Interesting. Usually, if you're going to produce a Void Ray, either you're going to produce a ton and try to do damage, or you produce 1 to pop overlords off around the map. Mana has gone for 2 Void Rays here, and he's going to go immediately into what looks to be Blink Stalkers here. Pain. I think we're going to be seeing some kind of a fast Blink Stalker build after the Void Rays. And
it looks like he's going with the +2 Blink Stalker build, 6 gate +2. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, there we go. There's the follow-up Phoenixes. He is getting a follow-up Phoenix now. It is on the way to the Void Rays. And, I mean, the 2 Void Rays isn't necessarily that uncommon. You'll see a lot of players either get a single Void Ray or 2 Void Rays, and then they'll follow it up with subsequent Phoenixes. And what that allows you to do is the 2 Void Rays together just gives you so much more potential to do damage. Mana has not cleared out the Xel'Naga towers, though. He looks like he is going to clear the southern Xel'Naga tower right now. There is a 4th going up for DarKFoRcE. I feel like Mana has an opportunity to take out that 4th with these Void Rays, especially since the Spire isn't up yet, and we don't have... okay, Hydralisks are ready to go. He is getting range, and there are 4 Hydras on the way, so this air attack will be thwarted, but +2 on the way, and we do have a 6-gate Blink Stalker build coming, but it's going to get scouted here by this Overseer, and that is not good for Mana.
Perfect scout right here by the Overseer. Sees the Chrono Boost going down on the Twilight Council, which does reveal that Blink is on the way. DarKFoRcE has surrounded the Stalkers next to the Xel'Naga tower. They have nowhere to go. Blink is still 10 seconds from finishing, and I think all the Stalkers, Pain, they're gonna go down.
Oh my god, that was such a mistake. Oh, and the last Stalker able to escape with Blink. Aren't you lucky, buddy?
Go home
5 kills. Upgrades his rank to Mentor, gonna head back home. What a nifty little Stalker right there.
He's gonna go home and tell everybody how he made it out alive.
He's gonna regale of the story of the Xel'Naga tower.
Everyone's gonna call him the coward that left his friends behind.
That's definitely possible. But then again, he did have Blink, so you can't blame him. I mean, if I had Blink and I was surrounded by Zerglings, I'd probably Blink right out of there too.
You'd leave me behind?
Hey man, if you died before Blink finished, you'd be dead already. What difference does it make?
Well, you'd be the one that got up against the wall. You'd leave me out there to take the damage for you?
Hey, somebody's got to be in the back. At least one of the Stalkers has to be back against the wall. And wow, look at this force from DarKFoRcE right here.
I love the Hydralisk here because
absolutely.
I mean, even against the Phoenix and Void Rays, it was great, but now against the Blink Stalkers, it's great as well. Hydras generally are the counter to any air unit the Protoss can make. And really a great counter against Blinkstalker. So DarKFoRcE is in such a good position. I love where he's at right now. He should be able to easily defend this hatchery without losing much. His Lings and Hydras are coming, and these Stalkers will be forced away. Let's see if me and you die once again, but I think he should be able to get out of there.
I don't think he will. He doesn't really have anywhere to blink to. The low ground is actually... Oh, never mind.
No, you left me behind again!
He was just able to blink out of there and keep those units alive, and it looks like DarKFoRcE definitely will be able to hold this, although it's very interesting. Mana is taking the top expansion, the pocket expansion in the top middle, and it looks like he is going to press along the top end of the map and try and just clean out DarKFoRcE's expansions as he moves along. This could be difficult for him as DarKFoRcE has taken a 5th. He already has the 4th at the top of the map, so it's going to be really hard for Mana to make anything happen here. He's going to have to sit back, build up, and then push with an absolute death ball.
I think he's also going to need to build some cannons here pronto. A lot of times when Protoss players opt to take the little side expansions on this map, a wise option is to build cannons so they have something to fall back to. Zerg players typically can't really break a cannon line when there's a ton of Stalkers backing it up as well. Mana here has found an opportunity to hit the hatchery, but DarKFoRcE is going to be going eye for an eye. He loses the hatchery at the top left, now down to 4 bases, but DarKFoRcE has plans to maybe strike down this very weak front door with only 2 cannons, but the sentries.
Force fields right there from Mana, but DarKFoRcE gonna load everything up in these overlords. He is just gonna go straight for the drop on the natural, dropping units all over the natural right now, poop and creep everywhere. And wow, Mana getting back just in the nick of time, blinking all of his Stalkers in. And who is gonna come out on top here? I think it's gonna be Mana.
Yeah, I have to agree with you because really DarKFoRcE didn't do that much damage. He's gonna try to go for a main drop now as he's picking up overlords, but he's only got about 5 overlords worth of units, and he ends up losing his entire army. Maybe killing off a couple Stalkers here or there, but the real point to take away is he's lost the hatchery at the top left, and he did not do any Nexus damage at all. Although he was able to unpower some
and we do have a counterattack heading into the top middle base right now. There are no cannons there, and I know you mentioned that earlier. He really needs to D that up, needs to wall off, get some cannons there, and that really could cost him quite a bit of mining time here. He is blinking all of his Stalkers in, but then again, we have another backstab coming from DarKFoRcE at the front, but Mana has split his forces wisely, and he will have enough to deal with this. He is going to be able to take out all of these roaches, and Mana manages to hold both of his bases.
Yes, brilliant hold right there, despite the fact he didn't have cannons at the back door. That +2 weapons really helping for Blink Stalkers. This is the optimal build, really, when you go for so many Stalkers, is to get that Blink technology. And look, good lord!
God.
Look at the amount of gateways this guy is adding on. He is getting funding from the federal government of the Protoss.
Yeah, like, that is quite a few gateways. If we could get a count on that, I think it was... What are we up to here?
At least 10. That's... Sometimes we have to count slowly.
It's
about 14 gateways. They're all becoming warp gates.
He might have one at the front as well. So
no, he actually lost that one.
Oh, look, he's building 2 more.
Good lord. Anyways, we have DarKFoRcE here coming in with the Zeppelins. Gonna unload a couple of roaches down under, and he's gonna be able to pick off some more units, but Mana has those Stalkers already in position. Very smart, able to hold this off. Meanwhile, Payne, we have another attack at the front door. Both these players are clawing for a victory here, but in the background, DarKFoRcE is at Hive, and he's making a greater Spire.
Yeah, DarKFoRcE just taking the entire map. Look at him going absolutely crazy. He has been running away with this game in the macro sense for so long now. I mean, the supplies before that first fight were at 180 to 130, now equalizing at 177 to 158. And, you know, despite how much macro DarKFoRcE has going for him right now, yeah, he's taking the entire map. Yeah, he is attacking multiple places at once. But Mana has been 100% on top of things. And once again, Mana has split his army into 2, and he is just ready and waiting for this drop at the top middle. His entire army is going to be there, and I think DarKFoRcE is walking into a little bit of a trap right here. He is not going to be able to take this out. and oh my goodness, he just missed all of Mana's units, all of them heading over there, and he is going to be able to drop at this expansion and in the main.
Yeah, well, there's a couple Stalkers coming in here, but I think he will be able to get his forces out, but I don't think they'll be able to do too much damage as Mana is well prepared. Is he going to lose his Nexus? No, he will not, and Mana gets a snipe off on DarKFoRcE's top left hatchery once again. Mana holding every single location. Brilliant hold by Mana, but like I said in the background, man, we have Corruptors coming, and you know what Corruptors become?
And guess who's ahead in supply right now? By quite a bit. We are at 172 to 163. Mana has finally managed to take a lead, and oh my goodness, this game has been so exciting from the get-go.
Yeah.
We have attacks going off anywhere. Pardon me while I catch my breath for a little bit. Just commentating all this, so much action, and look at how many Blink Stalkers we have going into the third of DarKFoRcE.
Ooh.
Although he is losing quite a few to these Hydralisks, he still has enough to overpower, and all the drones are going down, all the Hydras are going down, and DarKFoRcE cannot afford to lose this base.
Yeah, he cannot, absolutely cannot afford to lose this. He brings in some Overlords here, trying to distract or do something. I guess he just control grouped his Overlords with his army, which is a mistake that can happen.
Trying to trick him into thinking that it was a Baneling bomb.
It could, yeah.
That's very common nowadays. Yeah. You will see Baneling bombs come in the Overlords.
Actually really smart.
But Mana not buying it, not taking the bait. He's just going to continue to press forward. He wasn't even shaken by that, didn't even blink. And oh my goodness, if he finds these Broodlords and is able to get up in the main, he does not have an observer with his army, so he cannot see the high ground, but he is doing a phenomenal job microing these Blink Stalkers. Look at this, just getting every inch out of the Blink Stalkers, killing so many units.
All right, the Broodlords are out now, able to fire, able to provide some artillery fire for the first time, so that Mana will fall back here because DarKFoRcE is able to do some damage, but the Blink Stalkers getting underneath the Broodlords will be able to snipe them very easily. DarKFoRcE is holding on very little by little, and finally is able to surround those Stalkers, but Mana blinks.
Finally, the Observer comes into play, and he blinks those Stalkers onto the high ground. He will probably get on out of there. Blink back down. No, he's going to try and get around to the back, but losing all of these Stalkers. Still, though, I feel like Mana has done such an amazing job clawing his way back into this game. He has so many gateways right now. He is going to be able to resupply that army with a quickness. He is continuing to get those upgrades. Zealot's going to go ahead and take out that bottom right expansion, and now I think Mana is definitely back in contention for this game. I would put him ahead right now, once again ahead in supply, 120 to 114, and we do have 3 Broodlords out on the field for DarKFoRcE.
Indeed, the 3 Broodlords are helpful, but you know, when you're facing off against that many Blink Stalkers, the Stalkers can blink so easily underneath the Broodlords and snipe them out without even having a worry at all. So DarKFoRcE really needs to be careful about his Broodlords. He needs to make sure he has enough Hydras to back it up. Infestors with fungal growth would be really handy. In fact, he is making some Infestors right now. I like that. On the other side of the production tab, on the other hand, we have Storm coming. So Mana is well prepared to take this into the late game. I love how this game is, rather than being a left to right battle on Shakuras Plateau, it's a north to south. I love this. This is not as common, and this is going to boil down to a really intense game, but I agree with you. Mana has an advantage here. He's got more army, and he's just got more economy as well. We can see 82 over 55 Harvesters.
Yeah, absolutely. And on this map, this is the old Shakuras, so you will see this north-south style game play itself out sometimes. This is actually not too uncommon of a situation for this map. So both players know the map very well. DarKFoRcE choosing to expand towards the bottom right, so he was, you know, heading to the southeast with all of his expansions. Mana choosing to expand across the top of the map towards the west, and he is now setting up shop over there at his newly created fourth. A majority of his army hanging out there, and he is accumulating so much storm energy right now. This next battle is going to be absolutely brutal for DarKFoRcE. DarKFoRcE does have 3/3 melee upgrades on the way, however. I do not know if he has cracklings yet. He may. You'd have to check the spawning pool on that one. No, he does not. So forgot about that key upgrade. And here we go.
Oh my God, Mana able to get in here, doing so much damage with the storms, getting underneath all the Broodlords and everything underneath, getting decimated, and Mana is going to be able to easily blink in there and pick off the rest of the Broodlords. We have a little quick transfuser to try to keep things alive, but I think that DarKFoRcE has met his maker, and Mana is going to take this to the next game with a victory under his belt, because if DarKFoRcE loses this hatchery, he's really just going to have no way, in my opinion, to get back in this game.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to see about that. I wouldn't count him out just yet. He might be able to hold on here. We have a ton of roaches filtering out of all of the hatcheries. One Colossus is severely wounded. It's in the deep red. If he can manage to get that Colossus, oh my God, what's it at? 6 hit points. It looks like this hero roach might come from behind and kill the Colossus. No, he is protecting that Colossus with everything he has, and DarKFoRcE saying, good God, say thanks to whoever made this map pool. Very, very upset. DarKFoRcE actually with a huge lead in that game, making a few tactical errors and allowing Mana to claw his way back for a victory in game 1.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. Those drops were great, but he never really did that much damage with them. That's
yeah, Mana was always just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Anyways, Mana takes game 1. We'll be coming right back at you guys with game 2, so don't go anywhere.